the left bank of Kyiv, last night is a huge ballistic missile attack. Just moments ago, we saw a body being taken out of the bubble. There are casualties. We don't have the numbers yet, but this is a residential area. And as we were driving in, we saw a shopping mall, a McDonald's, and then all around that are just residential buildings. And the destruction that we're seeing here is massive. This building has been totally leveled. We don't know if people are still under the rubble.
Hello, my name is Ivan Kocherenko. I'm from Kiev, here on the residential building where the Russian missile struck it yesterday night. And the construction and the rescue works are already finished. And it's confirmed that 24 people died, almost 50 people injured. But some works are still going there, so it's an example of another Russian war crime, because it's only a residential area. There is no military or infrastructural objects here, so another Russian atrocity here in Kiev, which just happened. Especially for Ukrainian show on Pod TV, Ivan Kocherenko from Kyiv, Ukraine.
A fantastic video, Ivan. Thank you so much for creating it and acting in that video. Steve, I have a question to you. You're the only one American on the show today. But anyway, the question is this: after you've seen this video, what makes sense in America's reaction to this, judging from the fact that 70% of America support Ukraine, and yet
Right.
Trump is causing with Putin, and it's only if you take Trump's life, that's the only thing that goes unchanged through all his life is a love for Russia and specifically Putin. That's, he can easily change his position on many subjects, but one position that he never changes is his love for Putin. So
Right.
how do you explain it?
Well, first of all, Sasha, it's great to see you. And I had to do a little bit of reschooling in Ukraine after my political career ended. I had to kind of pick myself back up. But as I've been monitoring the situation at a high level as a commentator, first, let me just say that I think clearly whatever game President Trump and Putin were playing for this war in Ukraine has not worked at all. Number one, when President Trump was elected and reelected, he's wanted to weaken NATO. And I would say that NATO is today stronger with more forces in Eastern Europe, number one, right? Number two, most Americans are against the war. And I will say that Putin, as of last week, has lost more territory than he's gained in this war. So I think it's really important for him to look at it. I'm hearing readings and rumors out there that, even the Russian people are tired of this war. They're having a lot of issues in their economy. Their workforce is not there to support the businesses. They're really struggling. There's global shock to this, from supply chain disruptions, energy, inflation prices, while we have the war in Iran. But to answer your question, clearly this is not in America's best interest. It's not in the world's best interest. And let's not forget China. What President Trump's policies, and I would remind Secretary of State Rubio, is China has been supporting Russia. And this is only going to embolden any support of Ukraine of Russia over Ukraine is only going to, in my opinion, embolden China to invade Taiwan. So, there's a lot to unwrap here, but to unpack here, should I say? But I think it's really not working in either favor. And finally, I will just say the Ukrainian people. I am a real advocate and so passionate of Ukraine. There's about 35,000 right here in North Carolina in Research Triangle Park. Many of them are innovators. One of them is a friend of mine named Misha Shevets, and he's an AI researcher. Got a company. He's researching and starting the UNC Chapel Hill. And when the war came down, I remember years ago, he couldn't hear his mom and dad there. He's from Dnipro, which is the rocket Sputnik was there, and the rocket science capital. And it really was emotional to see these Ukrainians see their own families dying in front of their own eyes. I think the United States of America needs to step up and do what is right. Hopefully, this war, I think, hopefully we can. My final thing I'll say is that any mention of negotiations is a positive thing. Although Trump, you dangle it out there, then he'll back down. With the Russia attack, Victory Day celebrations, Putin kind of backed out, but then they're doing tremendous drone attacks in Kyiv. So I just think we need to end this war. I think it's the best interest of the United States, the best interest of the world. Sorry I went over my time, but there was a lot to unpack there.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Now let's come to Iran. What's new happening there, if anything? Seems to me Iranians are emboldened to try to play essentially a winner. They portray themselves as the winner of the war against the United States. What Trump can do in this situation, if anything?
I'll take a crack at this before I head it to Ivan. But I mean, first of all, this foreign policy, and I'd be very surprised if who wins the nomination for president in 2028, although we got midterms. But the bottom line is that the foreign policy of going into and taking over a country and has not worked for the United States. We've tried this in Afghanistan, it didn't work. We've tried it in Iraq, it didn't work. And billions of dollars of war. And the thing I forgot to mention is the one thing that the Ukraine war has shown, which this war will eventually prove, is that warfare is changing. You're using AI, you're using drones, you're going to see more cyber attacks. So at the end of the day, it's just going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to make the world any safer. And I get it that Obama maybe shouldn't have signed the Iran nuclear deal, although I think less nuclear weapons would be better. That's what Trump always argues. So I just think, Sasha, this war is a mistake. And I think the Iranian people, I don't know, I can't really speak for them, but I'm assuming that they don't want their country to be in war. And even if we take the regime out, who's going to monitor that government? Who's going to put in a democracy that works? So anyway, I know you and I are Trump fans, but I just feel like it's not going to change until we get a new president. And, I'm hoping it's Andy Bashir or Gavin Newsom or somebody that will win the White House. Some rumors are about Buttigieg might be the guy with the war experience. But we'll see. Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. And then Kamala Harris is running again. So, but anyway, I haven't anything to add there. I mean, I think it's, I'm not an Iran specialist, but
I think Kamala Harris.
Neither me.
I think Kamala Harris would have easier time to win the election rather than to be nominated.
Yeah, well, I think she'll win the primary. I mean, unfortunately, I do. Having been the victim of it, even in a local election, I will say, as a Democratic Party, if you run against a woman in a Democratic primary, you're really at a disadvantage. So when you look at it as a former vice president of the United States, just like Hillary Clinton was former Secretary of State, I could see her winning the nomination in a crowded field. Cory Booker, Buttigieg, Newsom, Ro Khanna.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy Bashir, who I think has the best chance of winning Governor Bashir at the national level because he's won in Kentucky. He's the governor of a large state in the southeast, Kentucky, a red state, but won with double digits both times. But I think if she wins the nomination, then I think it's going to be hard to win a general. So I hope the Democrats really look at getting someone that's electable across the country to win. Because otherwise, unfortunately, the title President J.D. Vance makes me a little scared, but it could happen, right? But I don't think with the way the world is going right now, the inflation, the costs, the oil prices. I mean, I think oil's about $5, $4.50 a gallon right now in America.
It's well over 450. It's already climbing higher. Inflation is coming much higher too.
Inflation, housing prices. I mean, and AI as well. I mean, with job loss, you know, I mean, you just this is the most disruptive time we've ever lived in that I can ever imagine. I was only 9 years old in 1979 during the Iran hostage crisis and the oil embargo, and today you look at it and it's crazy.
Yeah. Ivan, don't you think that although Ukraine and Iran, they're in completely different political positions, but something is similar, that a larger country like Russia against Ukraine attacked, and now US with Israel attacked Iran, some kind of similarity in the positions of two countries? What do you think?
Yeah. Actually, these two wars are really similar because both Russia and the United States planned to achieve a really quick victory to arrange a blitzkrieg war, and they were not ready for the long war of attrition and its consequences. And in this case, I agree with Steve that the war of Russia and Ukraine, it inflicts the global supply chains, but war of United States in Iran inflicts global market much more because of the oil resources and the oil prices going up. But what is similar in these two wars is behavior of each party which invaded to other country. For Russia, it was a better strategy to stop the war when they understood that their blitzkrieg failed, and then in some way manage the consequences of this war. And maybe in this way there were no such devastating pressure on Russian economy via sanctions. There are no such devastating attacks on Russian oil refineries, which Ukraine is now committing towards Russia. Russia didn't lose the 30% of their strategic aviation fleet, which they lost last year thanks to Ukrainian spiderweb operation and their strategic bombers fleet, which were actually remnants of the Soviet Union mighty, which Russia cannot build right now. They're really unique strategic aviation bombers, and Russia now cannot produce such bombers. They've used old Soviet technologies which are now not possessing. And also Ukraine sunk Russian flagship Moskva cruiser and a lot of other major losses for Russia, which actually they were able to escape if they've just stopped at the moment when it was clear that blitzkrieg is failed. But Russia didn't stop in different ways. Putin, one of that reasons is that Putin just a psycho and a maniac, and he likes killing people. For him, this war is a kind of satisfaction game,
and he really enjoys the dead civilians and attacks on Ukrainian cities. Another reason is that it was difficult for him to explain his society why a mighty Russia, with a number 2 military in the world, just was not able to conquer Ukraine. It would cause a great internal problem. And now the third major problem for Putin is what to do with his army of mercenaries, which are used to kill people which are being paid really great money by killing Ukrainians, which they will not be able to earn in the peaceful life in their provincial Russian cities. So that's why he cannot stop this war right now. And as for United States and Israel attack on Iran, when it was clear after several days, several weeks, that operation, that Iranian government is not falling apart, that Iranian military is not destroyed, that Iranian stocks of ballistic missiles and Shahid drones are not destroyed, and Iran is able to successfully attack American objects in the Gulf region and the objects of American allies. And most of all is that Iran found an asymmetric response to that invasion. They've started to attack oil infrastructure of their neighbor countries in the Gulf, and they've blockaded the Hormuz Strait by blocking the oil logistics in the region. And now there is a great problem for United States how to exit this war, because now United States actually are in the similar situation as Russia there is now. Of course, Donald Trump wants to exit this war, but Iran doesn't want to sign a peace deal without satisfying their requirements towards United States to get reparations, to confirm their right to control the Hormuz Strait, and etc. And the same is with Russia. Probably Putin want to exit this war, but he need at least something to sell towards his population as a victory. At least control the Donbass region. Then he can announce that he is victorious and leave Ukraine. But Ukraine now doesn't want to sign this deal when Russia is losing territory, when Russian economy is going down. So in this, there is a quite similarity.
Interestingly enough, is China able to help their friends Putin and Trump to end their wars? Steve, what do you think?
I mean, I think. Could you repeat the question, Sasha?
The question is China in a position to help its friends Putin and Trump finish their stupid wars?
I mean, I think China, the way they've been playing it, from my opinion, is they've been supporting Putin behind the scenes and more openly because of oil, but also because of the world order. By having an alliance with Russia, if Russia is successful, it could perhaps embolden them to invade Taiwan. So I think that the U.S.-China relationship is actually really in jeopardy. It's already getting worse, not only from an economic and a trade war, but the tariffs, the trade wars, these kinds of things. so that's my take on it. I mean, I think that I agree with everything Ivan has said. I mean, I think that this war is really not in Putin's long-term interest, but I think he has too much of an ego and he's put himself out there, that he doesn't want to show complete failure. At the end of the day, the final thing I'll say is that, there have been rumblings of assassination attempts against Putin, perhaps even a coup. We have to wonder. I mean, I haven't watched A Hunt for Red October or any of these Tom Clancy novels, but what would a post-Putin Russia look like? Something that we haven't really talked about. Would it be worse? Would it be better? I really believe this man is a dictator. He's killing innocent people in his own country. And I hope that it would reach a point where Russia would elect a leader or put a leader in office. Of course, Sasha, you know what the Russian elections have been. It's really not an election.
It will elect a leader when it will become a different country. First, it has to become a different country. People have to change. Then they can elect leader. And I'm not even sure that it will be by territory the same country. I think there will be 6, maybe 8 smaller countries in its place.
Right.
Which would be great for peace in the world, because it's much easier to handle 6 to 8 kind of medium-sized states than this huge Russia, which is actually economically and politically falling apart. Really, let's face it. It's just.
I agree.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I would like to thank you so much for today's program.
It's an honor. Thank you. I hope I carried my weight today, but it felt good to talk global issues with you guys. Thank you so much.
We'll have our next program on Tuesday, same place, same time. Looking forward to see you both. Ivan, continue your videos. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Great job. Thank you. Slava Ukraine.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.